We're more worried about if. Here's why the Democrats are not motivated to settle this, because history will say under Donald Trump, it was the longest government shutdown. So it'll be it'll be now.
We're getting there.
So for them, for the Democrats, it's going to be down on his scorecard. I wish Congress would go home, go to their home districts, and see the people suffering.
You want to know who
and then come back to Washington and then make their decisions.
Somebody is, and it's Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she's taking the sides of the Democrats actively. She has talked to her constituents, and she said their health care premiums are about to skyrocket. So, again,
in today's video, Adam Mockler absolutely schools Arthur Aidala on Newsnight with Abby Phillip. Things get heated fast as they clash over the government shutdown, Tucker Carlson's shocking decision to host Nick Fuentes, and the growing chaos inside the Republican Party. Mockler doesn't hold back, calling out the GOP's moral decay, their embrace of extremist voices, and the hypocrisy of blaming Democrats while their own policies hurt working Americans. Aidala tries to defend the indefensible, but Mockler's facts and composure make it clear who's in control of this debate. So let's dive in and watch how Adam Mockler shuts down Arthur Aidala on Newsnight with Abby Phillip.
2 nights ago, Mamdani wins, and we're told he's going to turn the city into a place where you don't have groceries on the shelves, where people can't put gas in their car. You actually know where that's happening? Under government rule, with the White House being under Republican rule, with the White House being Republican rule, with the Senate being Republican rule, with the House being Republican rule. And what do we hear from the FAA? Is that there are people who can't afford to put gas in their cars because they're not getting paid. You're worried about Mamdani being a socialist. Let me finish. You're worried about Mamdani being a socialist. I'm worried about the Republicans governing.
This is why actually Republicans don't like big government, because it is extremely unreliable, and that's why they don't want more government the way that Mamdani is proposing. But
they're in charge.
I hope that Arthur, that the Democrats are listening to you. The issue is, if you're listening to the mainstream media, 87% of coverage for the Democrats has been positive during the shutdown. So they look at this, they think they're winning. Schumer thinks every day that passes is better for him. The minority whip talks about having leverage, and they don't really have the incentive now, right? They look at the margins that they won in Virginia, where lots of angry government employees turned out to vote for Spanberger, and they think, I don't want to give this up. At the same time, Axios is reporting that House Democrats are putting tremendous pressure on Senate Democrats not to cave, not to compromise, or they will have, quote unquote, hell to pay. So I don't think Democrats are in a position where they are interested in negotiating based on everything that's being reported and that we're hearing from them.
Democrats are absolutely about to negotiate. There's reporting today that they're ready because they have leverage. First of all, I just want to say, the idea that the Republican Party is the party of small government, as you claimed, is a joke under this administration. Donald Trump is taking stakes, active stakes in multiple companies. Donald Trump is expanding his executive power, trying to trample all over Congress, trying to appoint people in key positions so that they can take Jimmy Kimmel off the air. But I do want to say...
So what do you want? What do you want big government here in New York? Why is that something that we should advocate for?
You don't know the government open.
You don't know my position on New York.
I want the government. The Republicans have voted 14 times to open the government.
Let me just finish. Republicans have voted 14 times to strip health care away from millions of Americans. It is incredibly, incredibly obvious who has the moral high ground in this government shutdown, and it's the Democratic Party. They are just trying to prevent millions of Americans from being kicked off of health care.
Who put the sunset provision for ACA subsidies?
Republicans negotiated.
That was Democrats.
Republicans negotiated that in.
Who put the sunset provision for ACA?
Do you understand how negotiation works in Congress? Two sides have to come together. The Republican Party.
The first time that we wouldn't have a clean CR passed. This is the bill that Schumer and everyone else agreed to back.
The Republican Party was the party that came in.
Why aren't they committing to it this year?
Listen, the Republican Party.
Why can't they commit to it this year?
The Republican Party was the party that didn't want permanent credits. Number one. Number two, the reason why Democrats are number one, just holding off is because millions of Americans are about to get kicked off health care. It's incredibly simple. Can I just ask, to either of the Republicans on this panel, would you rather see this government shutdown end in Trump's preferred way, which is terminating the filibuster, or Democrats' preferred way, which is extending health care? What do you say?
Ashley Allison, Adam Mockler, and Lydia Moynihan really exposes how divided American politics has become. And honestly, Ashley and Adam are spot on here. When Lydia tries to claim Republicans are the party of small government, it's hard not to raise an eyebrow. Let's be real. Under Trump, government spending skyrocketed. The national debt increased by nearly $7.8 trillion, and executive overreach became the norm. That's not small government, that's selective government. big when it benefits corporations and donors, small when it's about helping everyday Americans. Ashley brings up a crucial point about healthcare too. Republicans have voted repeatedly over a dozen times to gut the ACA, even during a shutdown that hurts millions. Democrats are the ones actually fighting to keep Americans insured, especially with ACA subsidies expiring soon. These subsidies have literally saved millions from losing coverage, particularly in rural and red states that rely on Medicaid expansion. And when Lydia talks about media bias, let's not forget, coverage tends to favor whoever's actually doing something for the public. Democrats pushing to reopen government and protect healthcare will naturally come off better than a GOP holding essential workers' paychecks hostage. At the end of the day, Ashley and Adam are arguing for stability, open government, healthcare for families, and accountability. Lydia's talking points sound like deflection from a party that's run out of solutions. The facts just don't back her up, and Ashley and Adam make that crystal clear.
First of all, I'm not a Republican.
Sorry. Then what do you
you?
Then what do you say? I want to see what do you say?
I ran for city council as a Democrat in the city of New York. Okay, lost by 108 votes.
Then I want to ask you, what do you say about that?
I'm a New Yorker.
Okay, answer my question then. Answer my question then. Answer my
these
question.
labels. You know why we are where we are?
Answer my
Because of what you
question.
just did. I'm going to answer your question, but this is why we are where we are, because we've become so partisan. We've forgotten about the people who don't put gas in their car. We've forgotten about the people who can't feed their kids. We're more worried about here's why the Democrats are not motivated to settle this, because history will say under Donald Trump, it was the longest government shutdown.
The second one.
It'll be now.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
So for the Democrats, it's going to be down on his scorecard. I wish Congress would go to their home districts and see the people suffering.
You want to know who
and
it is?
then come back to Washington and then make their decisions.
Somebody is, and it's Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she's taking the sides of the Democrats actively. She has talked to her constituents, and she said their health care premiums are about to skyrocket. So, again, one party clearly has the moral high ground. Let me ask the same question. How should the shutdown end? The way that Trump wants it to end?
It should end that it always... There's one way it typically has always ended.
Negotiation.
Under Biden.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
Biden,
Negotiation.
It always ends with a clean
With
CR.
negotiation.
No.
I reject your premise of your two false.
Donald Trump wants to terminate the filibuster. Democrats want to extend health care credits. Which of these sides would you choose?
I reject that premise.
Okay.
He's just a vile creature. The worst thing on the face of the earth.
And I'm glad she's retiring. I think she did the country a great service by retiring. I think she was a tremendous liability for the country.
And on Dick
I
Cheney.
thought she was an evil woman who did a poor job, who cost the country a lot in damages and in reputation. I thought she was terrible.
Doesn't it sadden you that the two leaders, what she said is horrible about him, what he said is horrible. I don't have any recollection of Ronald Reagan ever speaking like that about Tip O'Neill.
Arthur, who started
I don't
this
remember.
era?
I don't remember Bill Clinton ever saying that about Newt Gingrich.
Who started this era of politics? You were saying this is not how politics has always been, and I agree, but who started this new era of divisive politics? Was it Obama? Was it Biden? It was definitely Trump. Trump's claim to fame in the political arena was saying that Obama's birth certificate was fake. That was his claim to fame. His second claim to fame in the political arena was coming up with nicknames for his opponents. He was chanting,
that's what got him elected.
So let me ask you,
That's what
can
got
you
him
concede,
elected.
can any of you concede that Trump was the one, either of you, that entered us into this new era of divisive
I
politics?
thought we were talking about Nancy Pelosi.
We're talking about them both, but yes,
Yeah.
she did. She is.
Was it her that entered us into this new era?
Look, there have been Hillary Clinton making comments about deplorables.
5 years
Obama
after-
talking about people, guns and Bible. I don't think politics has ever been a gentlemanly sport. If you look at back during the Civil War, people were getting caned on the Senate floor and
Trump is dragging us down to the
hospitalized.
depths of hell by breaking unspoken norms over and over. He is.
I think the one piece, though, is
This exchange between Adam Mockler, Lydia Moynihan, and Arthur Aidala is a perfect snapshot of how political conversations often derail when facts meet deflection. Adam is absolutely right to press the point that Democrats' push to extend healthcare subsidies is about protecting millions of working-class Americans, not about scoring political points. Because let's face it, when we're talking about government shutdowns, it's always everyday Americans who pay the price, not the politicians arguing on cable news Arthur and Lydia's argument that Democrats are playing politics falls apart once you look at the numbers. The Congressional Budget Office has repeatedly shown that ACA subsidies have reduced the uninsured rate to historic lows, especially in red states where healthcare costs have long been a burden. And according to Kaiser Family Foundation data, if these subsidies lapse, over 3 million Americans could lose their health coverage or face premium spikes. That's not a partisan issue. That's a human one. And when the conversation turns to political divisiveness, it's almost comical to hear the right try to wash their hands of Trump's toxicity. Adam hits a nerve when he points out that Trump's entire political rise was built on sowing division, from birtherism to mocking political opponents and minorities. The claim that both sides are equally divisive just doesn't hold up historically. Adam's approach is rooted in reality, not culture wars or party loyalty. He's calling out hypocrisy and grounding the debate in facts that actually affect Americans' lives. And that's exactly what more people in these discussions should be doing.
Tonight, an eye-raising quote. Absolute shit show. That is what a senior staffer is calling the Heritage Foundation after its leader, Kevin Roberts, defended Tucker Carlson for hosting white nationalist and Holocaust denier Nick Fuentes on his podcast. Roberts is now apologizing, but the staffer says Roberts lost control of the organization. There is open rebellion. It is disgust from those there. 85% are totally disgusted. Carlson ignited a civil war inside the Republican Party with that podcast. Right-wing provocateur and close Trump ally Laura Loomer told CNN that Carlson is a poison pill to the GOP, and he'll cost the GOP elections in 2026 and 2028.
The reason why he brought him on was Fuentes, on his own, attacked Tucker Carlson's father, wife, and child. And Tucker was enraged, and the way he targeted his anger was to have him on his podcast.
Wait, so he was so enraged, he decided to have a friendly interview with Nick Fuentes. The problem, the problem is not that he held the interview, it's that he normalized this type of ideology. I think the Republican Party is for the first time being forced to face the monster that they've created in Nick Fuentes. Throughout my entire youth, I've watched Donald Trump normalize, not Nick Fuentes' rhetoric, but a type of extremist rhetoric that the U.S. has never seen before. Now, that is manifesting in the GOP, or at least Tucker Carlson and big wings of the GOP, welcoming in. Tucker Carlson is welcoming in somebody who believes the Holocaust didn't happen, or he thinks if it did happen, it was a good thing. He thinks that black people deserve less rights, women deserve less rights.
You can't say that about Donald Trump.
The Republicans do not.
About Jewish people with Donald Trump.
That's how I'm saying.
He wore a yarmulke at his daughter's wedding.
The way that Donald Trump speaks about the Democratic Party, the way that Donald Trump speaks about people who disagree with him, has normalized this extremist rhetoric. He said that we were gnats who need to be taken care of in front of the military. But the point is, a lot of young people are being sucked into this Nick Fuentes pipeline. I don't think the Republican Party, the old guard, is ready for what's about to smack them in the face with this new guard.
Adam Mockler and Arthur Aidala gets right to the core of one of the biggest problems in American politics right now, the normalization of extremism. And honestly, Adam is spot on for calling it out. What we're seeing with people like Nick Fuentes being given platforms by figures such as Tucker Carlson isn't just controversial conversation, it's mainstreaming hate under the guise of free speech. Let's be real, when someone like Fuentes, a Holocaust denier who's made openly racist and anti-Semitic statements, is treated as a legitimate guest rather than a threat to democracy, that's not journalism, that's recruitment propaganda. Studies by organizations like the Anti-Defamation League and Southern Poverty Law Center show a direct correlation between extremist rhetoric online and real-world hate crimes. These aren't abstract concerns, they have tangible, violent outcomes. Arthur Aidala tries to deflect by bringing up Trump's Jewish family ties, but that's irrelevant to the point Adam is making. Trump's personal relationships don't negate the fact that his rhetoric has emboldened extremists. According to the FBI's hate crime statistics, incidents targeting Jewish Americans surged over 30% during Trump's presidency, and that's not a coincidence. When leaders normalize phrases like enemies of the people or echo white nationalist talking points, it creates creates space for extremists to feel validated. Adam's warning isn't partisan, it's a reality check. The GOP's unwillingness to fully condemn figures like Fuentes or Carlson is a ticking time bomb, and if they don't course correct soon, this civil war within the party will be nothing compared to the damage that unchecked extremism will do to democracy itself. Pause. Are you getting tired of getting half the story from biased news sources? One outlet says one thing and another says the complete opposite. How are you supposed to know what's actually true? That's where ground news comes in. It lets you compare how different media outlets, left, right, and center are covering the same story. So you can see the full picture instead of just the echo chamber. And here's the best part. Click the link in the description and get 40% off the Vantage tier, which gives you even deeper insights into media bias and political trends. Stay informed, think for yourself, and check out Ground News in the description down below.